My life felt like a room with the curtains drawn, a space where the light struggled to penetrate. Comfortable, safe, but dim, lacking the vibrancy and energy that I knew existed beyond those walls. It was a self-imposed confinement. I scrolled through my phone, endlessly refreshing the screen, comparing my reality to others' highlight reels, each post a reminder of what I perceived as my own shortcomings. This constant comparison was suffocating my own potential, stifling any ambition that dared to surface. I was stuck in a loop, a repetitive cycle of inaction and dissatisfaction, mistaking existence for living, passively observing life instead of actively participating in it. My comfort zone was built from fear, a fragile fortress constructed to protect me from perceived threats and failures, and the belief that big dreams were for other people, those somehow more deserving or capable than myself. I watched from the sidelines, a silent observer in my own life, my inner voice fading, slowly being silenced by doubt and resignation. The ache of unfulfilled promise grew, a constant reminder of untapped potential, a quiet disappointment that I was capable of more, yet did nothing to bridge the gap between who I was and who I could be. I drifted, aimlessly wandering through life, letting habit and complacency steer my life, surrendering control to the familiar and the easy. We often choose the certainty of our current situation, the known quantity over the unknown, even if it brings little joy, because the fear of the unknown can be paralyzing. But true fulfillment waits just beyond our comfort zone, beckoning us with the promise of growth and discovery. It calls us to be brave, to summon the courage to confront our fears, to step into the fog, to embrace the uncertainty that lies ahead. That's where real growth begins, in the space beyond our self-imposed limitations. My turning point wasn't a dramatic event filled with flashing lights or loud pronouncements. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon, bathed in the soft glow of the late-day sun. I looked in the mirror, expecting to see the usual, but instead I saw tiredness, etched deeply around my eyes. Not from lack of sleep, though that was certainly a factor, but from a deeper, more profound lack of purpose. It was soul weariness. A question echoed in the silence of my mind. Is this really it? Is this all there is? Is this the life I truly want, or am I just going through the motions? That question, simple as it was, shook the very foundations of my comfort and complacency. It was a jolt to the system. I realized in that moment that I was the author of my own story, the architect of my own destiny. But the pages were blank, devoid of the adventures and passions I longed for. No one was coming to rescue me from this quiet desperation. No knight in shining armor, no sudden windfall. The responsibility, the power to change things was entirely mine, and mine alone. This wasn't about self-criticism or dwelling on past mistakes, but about a profound moment of self-awareness. I didn't have all the answers, and I certainly didn't have a detailed plan for the future. Just the undeniable truth that I desperately wanted more meaning in my life, more joy in my everyday experiences, and a greater sense of purpose guiding my actions. That moment of clarity, that quiet understanding, was my spark, the initial flicker of a flame. It was the precise point at which I decided to stop passively being a passenger in my own life, and actively decided to take the wheel and drive towards a different horizon. Change, real and lasting change, began with a single honest question posed to myself. The journey didn't start with definitive answers neatly laid out, but with the simple yet profound courage to ask those difficult questions. And, surprisingly, that was enough to begin. After that initial spark of inspiration, that moment of clarity, I felt both incredibly motivated to make a change, but also deeply overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of it all. It was a confusing mix of emotions. Changing my entire life, reshaping my habits and mindset, seemed like an impossible task, a mountain too high to climb. But then I remembered a simple truth. You don't have to conquer the mountain in one leap. You just take the first step. I started with something small, manageable, and achievable, making my bed every morning. It was a small victory, a kept promise to myself, a tiny act of self-discipline that rippled outwards. This simple act sent a powerful message to my subconscious. I am capable of achieving what I set out to do. From there, I added just 5 minutes of quiet each day, a moment of stillness amidst the chaos. I focused solely on my breath, the simple act of inhaling and exhaling. In those quiet moments, I began to truly hear my own thoughts, the whispers of my intuition. I started to untangle the web of self-doubt that had been holding me back for so long. These small steps, seemingly insignificant on their own, became the foundation upon which I would build a new life. Making my bed each morning naturally led to those 5 minutes of quiet contemplation, which then inspired me to start gratitude journaling, writing down the things I was thankful for. And that, in turn, led to reading just one inspiring page from a book each day. None of these individual actions were monumental or life-altering on their own, but when combined, they created a powerful sense of momentum, a feeling of forward progress. Self-development isn't about making giant leaps or overnight transformations, it's about taking small, consistent steps in the right direction, day after day. Each day, I laid another brick, adding to the foundation I was building. And over time, these consistent habits began to create real, tangible change in my life. The foundation was finally set, solid and strong, built one simple action at a time. Self-development isn't a straight line. Some days I slipped back into old habits, motivation faded. The real work began when things got hard, when I felt lonely or doubted myself. Not everyone understood my changes. Some friends drifted away. I learned to find comfort in my own company and seek new connections. Impatience was a challenge. I wanted instant results, but growth is slow. I practiced self-compassion and forgave myself for setbacks. Every struggle was a lesson. Resilience isn't avoiding difficulty but responding to it. The hurdles weren't obstacles, they were the path. Each challenge shaped me, building strength and discipline. The struggle was where I grew most. The journey isn't over. Self-development is a lifelong practice. The goal isn't perfection, but awareness and honesty with yourself. Living with intention changed everything. I ask why before I act. Intention turns you from a victim of circumstance into the creator of your reality. Letting go was crucial of old expectations, past mistakes, and the need for perfection. Only by releasing these weights could I move forward. If you're starting your journey, begin small. Be kind to yourself. Don't fear the hard questions in the mirror. Your purpose is unique, don't let comfort or noise drown it out. Take one small, intentional step. The path ahead is yours to walk, and you are worthy of every step.